Okay. So I'm gonna pull up just one by one. I don't know if you guys want to like rock, paper, scissors or have a preference of which one we go through first. But we're just gonna discuss some of the tanking stuff. It shouldn't really take that long. But I just want to not have to like discuss this on the fly. Stuff's gonna change, especially like depending on who's there and whatnot. Like Bear, if you're not able to make a couple nights for your reasons, then we're probably gonna have Jelly cover for you on his warrior and tank. So want to kind of just go over each of the different assigns. If you guys don't have opinions, I would say probably TK first, just because it's easier and quicker.
Yeah, I was like in bed all day watching these videos, so they all look pretty easy, except the last.
Yeah, so let's do that. This has all of like the videos that I had referenced. And then I also looked at a bunch of logs, and then for some of these, it's just like we did the PTR stuff as well. So if I go up to Alar, the big thing for us on Alar is going to be we're going to have Jelly tank as well. So Slayers is going to be on the ground picking up the birds. I'm going to start it on platform 2, and then I'll cover like 1 and 2. We'll have Jelly cover 3 and 4, and then Bear, you cover 5 and 6 over here.
Yeah.
And so when Alar's not at your platform, you just stand in the middle of the two. So like I would stand about here, and if he comes to platform 2, then I can get there before he does his little ember shit or whatever it's called, which hits everybody. So if for some reason he goes to, like, if I'm at 2 and he flies over to 1, I'm not going to be able to get there before he does his little AoE ability. So we can call for like our Boomkin to use his Trance or our Shadow Priest to use his Shadow Fiend, just to give us like an extra second, and it should keep us from taking the 2 ticks of his AoE.
That's Quills, right?
No, Quills is when he flies up in the middle.
What's the other AoE that he does?
I don't remember, but it like does some damage every time he's not in melee range of somebody.
Yeah. Let me pull up the...
Does it do a ton of damage, like Mag Therodon, like if you don't click, or?
It's similar to that, yeah. You can take 2 ticks of it, but then after that, like a 3rd tick's probably gonna kill people. That's phase 2, Ember, Flame Quills, Rebirth. Why is this not in here? Flame Buffet. If no one's within melee range while he's on a platform, he does Flame Buffet. And I can edit this and like put what the Flame Buffet ticks for in here, because we can see it in the logs. Let me pull it up real quick in case you guys want to like be able to find this stuff yourself as well. Thing is, I'm probably gonna have to find one where they have a Flame Buffet and one that's not in Chinese.
Jesus fucking. Do you have Google Chrome? Can't you like translate it or something?
Enemies. Alar. Flame Buffet. Average hit 2k. It's 7 casts of it, jeez. So 2k looks like average hit 2k 2.1, then still looks like some people might have had like a partial resist or something. So about 2k damage, and it ticks we should be able to see the gap in timing for this. I've seen it somewhere. We can look at like somebody taking damage taken. Friendlies. Flame Buffet. Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, maybe.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, we understand.
Yeah. I remember seeing one of the other ones in there and it's showing the time. But yeah, so like to avoid if you have to run from one of your platforms to the other, like your average run speed, he'll flame buff it tick twice. So the whole raid will take 4k damage. If you do something cheeky, like you should be able to switch to cat and sprint. I can like use swiftness potion or something. Heroic leap, yeah, I can do that. But we'll use that plan because whenever he does his quills, we'll each be watching for it. So it's gonna look like he's gonna like fly to one of the other platforms, but he's gonna fly up towards the middle. That's when everybody has to jump down. The thing is, it only covers like half of the ramp. So technically you can be on the lower half of the ramp, and you can actually see it in the video that I posted. But one of the important things is if you're like barely making it, or like we call it at the last second, make sure you don't jump off, because then that's going to hold your positioning the entire time you're in the air. You just won't fall off. But then afterwards, like after a quill, when he comes back, he's going to go to 2 or 5. So I'm going to go to 2, Bear, you're going to go to 5, and he'll, go to either one of those. The thing is, like, I think if you wait at the bottom of the platform for quills to be done and then run up, he'll like flame buff it 1 tick. But if you wait like halfway up the platform, and again, you can like see a fiery visual, you can get up to him before he does any flame buff it ticks. So overall, not like a deal breaker, but easy way to reduce some raid wide damage. I think for the ads, it seems like whenever it seemed really random on when he spawns ads. So like I saw some attempts where like no ads spawned and the prop pally was just like doing nothing, and then there were some where he had like 2 or 3. Here it shows that like he would spawn an ad whenever he this says like when he moves to a new platform, but it seemed like it was only happening when he was like crossing the room when he's flying. But anyway, the healers should get threat from just like healing when those come out, so they're gonna fly down the ramps, and that's where slayers can pick them up. We can also have tanks or like hunters attack and kite them over to the paladin. They don't hit for more than like 2k as well. It's all physical damage, so it doesn't make any sense for any tank or anybody in the raid to have fire resist for that reason. But it's okay if they're like hitting somebody for a little bit, but when they explode, the explosion hits for like 6k, and that is fire damage, so slayers will just have like his fire resist aura up, and that will be enough. We checked logs and didn't see that like any like the prop pally in a kill attempt was wearing any fire resistance. But generally you're just going to want to like tank them with your back somewhere, so that when they do explode, you're going to get knocked back. You don't want to get knocked across the room. So for during that first phase, we're not going to have anybody kill those ads. We're just going to hold on to them until the second phase, because when they do die, they do 3% damage to the boss. And we want that damage to be dealt during phase 2. So I think we're going to have... We might adjust this strat here, since we're not gonna kill those ads till phase 2. I meant to update this, but generally we're just gonna have like the melee running around to each of the platforms. They can like jump down and attack them as long as they don't kill them, but generally they're just gonna like be chasing around the boss. I don't know if it's gonna be this way next week, but it seemed like on some of the, like in the video that I linked, Alar's threat was weird. So like whenever the boss gets to your platform, just go ahead and taunt him. It seemed like in the video the melee were getting attacked unless the boss was like first taunted by the tank up there. So I don't know what the reasoning was behind it. I just didn't want to chance it, so I took a note of that to make sure that we just taunt it when it gets to your platform. We already covered quills, and I'll go up to position 2. Barry, you go to position 5. So when he dies, then we all jump down in the middle, and you just don't stand in the purple area. So it's the same for us. We don't want to get hit by his rebirth, which is about 4.5 to 6k fire damage. So we don't want to be right on the boss at that time. I'm gonna navigate to this kill attempt real quick. But then phase 2 tanking's pretty straightforward. We just have to do a like tank swap whenever we see each other get the melt armor debuff. So I would just make sure that your UI shows targets debuffs or focus me or something like that. I should be able to see yours. This guy's UI is pretty terrible. But you can see it's about dead here. So just trying to get that rebirth, which I'm like barely missing. So he's going to die at wherever platform he was at, and then it's pretty much don't stand in the middle here. Pretty sure. Unless he's trying to get hit by it, but okay, it looks like you can be in like a couple yards. But we're going to have a hunter misdirect because they did have like an attempt where like he did his rebirth and he just like went and killed somebody. So we'll do a misdirect at that time. Otherwise, like the boss is tauntable, so we'll just be able to taunt back and forth. We're used to it, like the boss having like weird taunt resists, so it's pretty crucial to like know when your taunt resists and like when to use like an AoE taunt. Because the melt armor is pretty much the only thing that's going to get us. So here you can see that whenever he does the dive bomb, we're all just going to stack up. And then he does his rebirth right after he does the meteor. So they'll all stack. And then we're probably just going to put a marker on somebody and say, okay, everybody run out together. That way people aren't like, oh, I'm going to go spread out but not really get far enough away. You can kind of see his like a rebirth radius there, but it's just important that people don't take that 4.5, 6K fire damage from just being too close, and then we'll probably have to move the boss around a little bit as the flame patches come down and whatnot. But for Slayers at this point, every time he does his rebirth, he's gonna spawn another ad. So we're not going to kill the ads that spawn during phase 2. So you can see here they stack back up again. The pally on the right side here is bringing the ads to the meteor. So Slayers, you're going to want to make sure that you do that, because the hunters can drop a snake trap and it reduces the meteor damage that's spread across everybody. So like you'll essentially be tanking those ads, just like kind of nearby. We're not going to attack them and kill them, so you don't have to worry about having your back on the wall. But you need to be close enough to our stacking point for meteor, so that whenever that does happen, that you don't miss it, and you can get the ads over there to trigger the trap. See if we missed anything.
Copy.
That's a copy. We're probably gonna might reconsider this. I saw some people lusting in phase 1. I don't get the rush in phase 1, but my initial plan was to, after, like, once we're in phase 2, after that first meteor, just pop a lust.
Probably doesn't hurt, because by the end of the fight it'll be back up. If you pop it on pole.
This kill is from 12 minutes to 19 minutes, so it's like a 7-minute kill. So we wouldn't be able to pop it twice, if that's what you implied.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The other thing was, I was trying to see how often, I don't think I had in here how often he does his dive bomb. Damage done, enemies, alar, dive bomb. Looks like once a minute here, based on this 5, 6, 7-minute mark here. So looks like every minute. So yeah, that seems right. So it seems like it would be best just to lust after that first meteor. The pally tank will have the birds till the end. This won't really apply to us, but if for some reason our kill's not looking very clean and we get towards the end, and we don't have enough people alive, but Alar's gonna do one more meteor, then we might just have a single person take it and die, rather than spread that damage and cut it close for the people that are alive. So that's Alar. Any questions about any positioning or ads or platforms?
Not really. It seems pretty easy.
Yeah, he is pre-nerf, so he can go to all the platforms. Initially, like, he was only going to like 4 of them, and he would go through a certain rotation, and he would just go clockwise. That's after he gets nerfed. So, yeah, I really think it's just people dying to meteor and us calling quills fast enough. Once you get used to like his flight pattern across, you can start to see once he gains some elevation, any of us should like be able to see that better than the people on the ground, so we should all be inclined to call that out. Obviously, we don't want to like accidentally call it, because then he'll just flame buff it and we'll die. But should be easy. So moving on to Void Reaver, we tried this strat on the PTR. For some reason, we all just got blasted. I think it was because we didn't run in at the same time. But this one is literally just like as simple as this explanation is. The his knockback just drops the tank by 10k threat. So essentially, everybody needs to be 10k below like the second tank. You'll probably, I mean, I'm gonna try to get it first because you'll be better at taking threat than I am. But it seems like we're used to the way I've tanked this. I'm used to him dropping probably like 25 or 30k threat. So I don't think this is like really going to be an issue. It's probably not even going to be worth mentioning this mechanic after like the first week or two. But we just have some misdirect rotations in here. The skinny on the hunters is they literally just like move back and forth to dodge the orbs. We just keep the boss in the center. For Solarian, Bear, you and I will have our resist sets. I forgot to calculate in the arcane resist trinket, so I think one of us are gonna have like 360, one of us are gonna have 350 or something like that. I'm gonna look at the logs one more time to see the kind of damage that people are taking, because one was mentioning like, oh yeah, we just did it with 320 resist, and it might make sense at some point to like index on having a little bit more health than having that little bit of extra arcane resistance. But you have the underbog trinket, right? So you could, with the badge, have 2 stam trinkets on?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I'll have my rocket launcher and that stam trinket on.
Well, I have the Keepers of Time one. I don't know if the resilience part matters for that fight, but like I have the epic one.
Gotcha. Yeah, both of those sets are just sitting in the guild bank right now.
Can take it out? How does that work? I don't remember.
You have... I'll have to see what... I don't think anybody has permissions to pull from these tabs. Raider 3, withdraw. Yeah, no.
I don't see much at all in the guild bank about.
Can you not see the other tabs?
It's the guild vault, right?
Yeah.
I see a chance and Matt's tab that's locked, a consumes tab that's locked, and then here's.
You should be... Your Raider rank, based on how I have it set up, you should be able to see everything, because I have view tab in there.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe I'll turn off LVUI and try to adjust them again. Slayers fall asleep.
Maybe this is my bag add-on fucking up. Hold on.
That's what I thought, and I turned it off, and I still couldn't see the tabs like on iTunes.
I don't know.
that work? Yeah, I think it's on my side. I literally just got a notification that the guild master rank was just renamed to Raider. Glad to hear it. I'm gonna message Slayers. That's like next level. Gym internet? How's that compare to hotel internet?
It's terrible.
So on Solarian, you and I are just gonna do the arcane resist stuff. We're just gonna stand off to the side. And then Slayers is gonna be the one that tanks the boss. The boss can't be tanked during until phase 3 pretty much. But in phase 1 she just randomly casts on people. She's gonna put that Wrath of Astromancer on somebody. They're gonna run it over to us, and after it falls off at like the 6-second mark, then one of us are gonna get it, and we'll just sit there. And then she's in phase 1 for 50 seconds, then she'll disappear and summon 12 ads. Slayer's gonna pick those up, bring them back to where the group is standing, which is just the Warlock icon here. And then they'll just cleave them down, and then she's gonna come back out. When she comes back out, she's gonna bring 2 priests, which the melee DPS will like stun and kick, and then all the DPS will kill those first. And it'll just be rinse and repeat between those two till she hits 20%. And then we'll have we can attack her at that point. We're not going to do much, but I don't know if she's tankable. I'll have to see what kind of damage she hits for. I don't want to get too far ahead without freaking Slayer Z.
That fight looks so stupid easy.
Yeah. Looks like she hits for physical damage. Like, even in phase 3, look at that. She hits for 2.4k. Yeah. I mean, we're like making it easier by doing the... It's like everybody's job's easy except for the healers, but if we do the arcane resist shit, then even the healer's job's easy. The only thing is that, like, she fears at the end. I need to post. Where's my KT?
Are we going over KT next?
Yeah, if Slayers hops on. Otherwise, we can hit the fights in the SSC that Slayers has no job in, which is like Leo. Okay, well, I haven't heard back from him, so we'll keep going. That's why I'm recording it. So let's just switch over to SSC. For Hydros, you've got your resist set. Have you tested and confirmed that with like Hunter aspect, you've got 365 nature resist?
Yeah, I mean, I have like 290. Hold on a second. I think I have this hotkey.
I can come to chat real quick.
Yeah, I got 313 with Mark, 288 without. So 288 plus 70 is where I'm at.
So you need like one piece.
I mean, I can put 8 more on the legs. I wasn't sure if I should do that. I had a 40 stamina.
Gotcha. What's your, let me take a look. What's your health pool like? You got a 4 down right now.
Yeah, this is with everything. I mean, I can always put more stamina on trinkets if I needed it. I'm not sure how important dodge is for that, or resilience.
Yeah, it all comes down to the resistance. You can dodge, like he hits for elemental damage, so you can't you can only dodge it.
Yeah, the dodge has been super good in like the Mana Tombs one. I don't know if it would be pretty
Yeah.
helpful one as well.
The thing is, like, he applies his marks and increases the damage he does really slowly, and it goes up exponentially. So like at that 100% increased damage mark, that's when we transition him. So I can watch our PTR video to see what I was getting hit for at that point, but I would say at 14K you're gonna have a kings and a fort, so I think you should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is how much I. Hold on, this is. I have more stamina in that gear than I have in my normal gear.
Oh, you could also get a nature resist cloak because you can get a nature resist enchant on the cloak,
I could
and then
like a nature. I've never seen one of those. I can check dodge.
yeah, and then we also, if you're like really close. So what's your number at right now?
288. I don't remember if Mark of the Wild and the aspect stack.
I don't think so. But if you get Aspect of the Wild and then you use one of those 8 resist foods, that'll put you at 366.
Yeah, I'm guessing the 40 agility to pants is more important than 8 nature resist. Especially for me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that fight's not hard, like at all. I would even I mean, either way, I think you're going to be fine. I would probably put see how much like DPS/threat gear you've got. Yeah, defense doesn't matter all too much. You have like a threat cape, don't you?
No, I keep passing it in pairs and to other people, so I've never gotten one. But I mean, I have this thing. I don't have the agility one.
Gotcha. Yeah, that might be better because that's 1% hit on it too. You could just put nature resist on that cape
Yeah.
and
Isn't
then
that
eat
like
stam food.
the old nature resist the cape from AQ, right? Like 15 or something.
Yeah. I think they actually updated to use. Yeah, it uses like TBC mats now,
Oh, good.
so it's real cheap. And I can give you 3 greater planers out of the guild bank.
Yeah, I can do it on that cloak. Unless I get one from Karazhan, but I doubt.
Alright, I'll give you.
Wait a minute, is there a badge cloak? Let me. Oh, I got 100 badges.
There's just fire resist for the badge gear.
No, I meant like an agility DPS cloak.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, there is. Probably a giant waste of badges, though.
Blood Knight Yeah, this seems like a waste. Yeah, just use what you got because it's got a hit. I don't know what hit you get from talents or whatever, but.
My head is horrible right now. Especially with this gear on. I wonder where that enchant comes from now. I don't have that one.
They like. Well. I think it comes from the same place it originally came from. Which was.
Cenarian and AQ or something. Something.
Cenarian Circle Honored. So, Silithus.
Let me see if I got that. No, I'm friendly myself.
I'm sure people have it.
Yeah.
But for that fight, welcome back, Slayers.
Yeah, my phone died. My bad.
Oh, you're good. We just were chatting about resist sets. So I've got Frost. Bear has Nature. Slayers, we crafted you one piece of Frost and one piece of Nature. It's gonna be chest and legs. They're already in the guild bank. We could put like more. We should be putting more stam, like health on chest, stam on legs. I'll get that taken care of for you. Those are the only 2 pieces you're going to need to use. I can heal Heroic Arc in a sec. Those are the only 2 pieces you need to use, Slayers. The ads do hit like pretty hard. So, if you look at this picture, this has really nothing to do with how we're gonna do it. The only thing that you need to know about is where these lines are. Like traditionally, you just think of the banners as the line to cross, but Bear, you and I will have to, get a good feel for where that line actually is, because when you transition him from poison to ice, so like you bringing him to me across this back line, you do have to go pretty deep. And then when I bring him to you, I'll cross the banners. So during that time is, when he transitions, he summons all of his ads. So like for the first transition, like when we pull, that's when we have like no ads, uncontended, like access to just attack the boss. So that's when we're gonna pop our lusts. We should be able to get the boss down to like 60 or 50%. And then we'll pull it over. It is important though that we don't want Slayers tanking all 4 ads, because they do hit for like 4k of their element. So when he comes over, he's gonna have poison. So he'll have his frost resist aura, and he'll be in a hunter group as well to get the nature resist aspect. But the tank who was previously tanking the boss, so like for example, when I bring the boss over to the poison side for you, Bear, I'm gonna mark one of the ads as skull and taunt it. So that way I'm getting hit and that damage is spread, because if he's getting hit by all four of those, it's too much damage. They have like a 2-second swing timer and they hit for about 4K, so that's why he's got like that first level of resists for both nature and frost. But still we can't have all four hitting him. So I don't want to have to do the banish crap because it shouldn't be necessary, but it can be lethal if he's got all four of them. The thing is, what's the most complicated about that part of it is that Slayers is going to be trying to pick up all of those ads and generate AoE threat on them, and there's a chance that like you taunt and then he either like still has it or like taunts after you. And for you, you're not going to be able to AoE taunt because then you'll get all of them and you'll die. So we're going to have to just kind of get used to when when to taunt after bringing over the line.
Yeah.
For us, that's pretty much it. We should be able to go from frost over to poison, and then once we go back to frost, we should be able to kill him on the frost side. If he comes down to like a low percent health, we can kind of be a little sloppy with waiting for the marks and trying to rely on like the resist sets to keep us alive even when he does 250% increased damage. For me, that's when I would like last stand and or shield wall. That way we don't have to cross the line again and deal with ads, but typically it doesn't line up like that. We would typically, if he's at like 20%, we might just say, hey, we're gonna move him over a little bit earlier. That way, we can just have one final transition. We'll probably have Jelly like calling out the marks or Celery calling out those marks. But your DBM should show you. He does it every 15 seconds, so yeah, he does it every 15 seconds. So like after we get that 100% mark, we're gonna wait like 5 seconds, then we're gonna tell everybody to stop TPS, and then within that next 5 seconds, that's when you're gonna want to move it over. And I have more videos of us doing this as well, if any of that doesn't make sense.
I'm clear.
Okay. For Lurker, I'll be tanking the boss. The only thing that we really need to make sure that we're on top of is when the ads come out, they come out on these X's here. So like he's gonna do all of his normal whirl, spout, geyser stuff, and then once he submerges, his ads are gonna come out. It's 2 per platform, so we're using this method to say like, hey, these people are on platform 1, these people are on 2, these people are on 3, and then when he does his spout, we're gonna say like, hey, it's gonna hit platform 3 first, so hunters be ready, and then it's gonna go clockwise. But when he submerges and these ads swim up, how I want to do it is, Bear, I want yours killed. Like, you just pick it up and tank it, and the melee are gonna come over and kill it right there. They're just gonna single target that one. Slayers is gonna pick up the one on the X here, and I'm gonna pick up the one that spawns over here, and we're gonna bring them to where this little donut is, and then the melee can come over and cleave it, and all of the casters will be able to hit it from here as well. At least the ones on platforms 1 and 2. So it's this spot because it's in range of them. The thing is, the ads have like a really big old nasty cleave, similar to like Nightbane's like 180 cleave. So just be mindful of when you're moving them, who you're moving them in front of, because there's going to be healers positioned here, probably more than just one shaman than compared to like what's shown here. So make sure that you don't just walk them right over them unless you like see them cleave and you know it's like on cooldown or whatever. Then you can feel safe to run it through. But it's got like a 3 or 4 yard range, so like even if this shaman was standing here and we were tanking them here and he was kind of faced this way, the shaman would probably get hit and die. And it's a one shot on anybody who's not like a tank or probably like a holy pally with a shield on. Otherwise, same thing for like when he does his spout, he's gonna do it in a direction. Slayers, you know this, but the like the melee have the option to run around the platform. The thing is, the water ticks for 1k, and it ticks immediately when you touch it. So even if the melee are running or stepping through this water right here on the platform, they just take 1,000 damage. And if they like manage to like go in and out of it real quick, that's 2,000 damage. So like we're going to tell the melee to be extremely careful with if they choose to like during the spout to run around the platform, to make sure that they're going on the outside of the water to just avoid that unnecessary damage. So if you guys do the same when Lurker's actually out, then just be sure to dodge the water and jump over it. Otherwise, you're going to take a bunch of unnecessary damage. Any questions on that one?
Sounds good.
Yeah, and in the event that Bear's out, Jelly, I would say you're taking his tank target for pretty much like all these bosses, except for like probably Tidewalker here.
I need to do Hydros first then because I don't have one. I actually have one of those if you need it, Bear.
Yeah, that would be good. I can also get boots, it looks like, for another 27 if I needed to.
Oh, can't you just enchant that cape and get cap?
Yeah, you're right.
We have Nature Resist Cloak of level 70 in the guild bank.
Yeah, I put that in there. I couldn't remember if I put it in the bank or if I put it in there.
Yeah.
If I did that cloak instead with the enchant on it, maybe I could like switch my legs out for my tier or something.
Yeah, if I would say do that if you can get another piece on. It's the thing is like that would give you where'd you just rip it out? That would give you 20 plus 15 is 35. So
My pants have 35 on them right now, so I think I would need a little more. But being able to use skulkers instead would be tight. Or a tier.
yeah.
Hit percent's probably going to matter too for this. I'm almost at 6% hit with skulkers on.
Gotcha. Okay. Next one here is Tidewalker. Bear, you're gonna be tanking him pretty much like in between the wall and this column. The video I linked has a really good view, even though it's a warlock perspective. But same as what's in there. Slayers, you're gonna pick up the murlocs that come from the north side of the room. We'll have a hunter laying a slowing trap there for you, and I'm gonna get the ones that come from the south side of the room by where all the watery graves are. And then I'm gonna have a hunter trap near like the top of the ramp. So Bear, you're gonna have a either a frost resist aura or a frost resist totem just for the boss's, what's it called, tidal wave, because if he hits you twice and tidal waves, that could be lethal, so reducing that damage helps out a little bit. Otherwise, the only thing that we need to be like really aware of is, Bear, you won't get put into the watery graves, but Slayers and I have a chance to be put into the graves, and in those situations, we're kind of relying on our hunters to be able to like misdirect some of those. May also consider Jelly having you like throw on a shield and like go pop a wee taunt on a pack or something like that, but you can only do that once per fight, so it's gonna be a weird situation when that happens, but we're gonna rely on some misdirects from some hunters and some blizzards to slow. For us, once we have the murlocs, we should try to keep them around the frost traps until we're ready, like we feel like we have enough threat to bring them in. So Slayers, you and I will pretty much run them over to where the melee are attacking the boss. And that way the warlocks can just like seed the boss, and like the melee can cleave them down from there. Once he hits 25%, he summons his little water globes. So what you do is you pretty much just like pull him back to the wall, and we all kind of like tuck around with you. I would just do that pretty slowly. There's not like a huge rush to do that, but that's when we're gonna lust and just burn them down from there. But yeah, the Murlocs are 70k health every minute or so. Any questions about Tidewalker?
For me, it's boring as shit.
Yeah, I mean, we can.
Yeah, you're gonna be on boss, right?
Yep. Leveling my fishing.
No.
Please don't
No, I'm kidding.
ever do that. So we obviously we can switch things up. I don't know how your like AoE threat is. I had just planned on using grenades and the Sporegar shield with a shield spike. And then I've got sappers I can use every 3 minutes as well.
That's probably better than me.
Yeah. And I've done the Murloc crap before. If it gets like if our Murloc's tanks getting put into the graves is like constantly a problem, this is a fight where like having another tank is really helpful. I can see what they hit for, but like the only way we wipe on this fight is when Murlocs get out of hand. For Fathom Lord, it's pretty straightforward as well. Really just have like a big old little Discord message that has like the kill order and all the little icons and stuff. The skinny on what we're gonna do here is the boss and the ads hit for like not a lot. So I plan on tanking the boss and the hunter ad, and then having Slayers pick up Skull. Well, Slayers will probably have you. I think I switched it around after looking at the hunter ad, because if you don't kill the hunter, he just like summons another pet. So we're gonna kill Skull, and then Star will be the hunter. So like we'll have melee kill, like all DPS will kill Skull, and then Star. Melee DPS will kill the pet. Range DPS will go kill Moon. Bear, I've got you in the back on Moon. She does like a AoE. What's her shit called? She tries to heal. She summons like cyclones, and then she has some AoE shit. So like you just pull her away from the group. And then I've got you with a Warlock to keep Curse of Tongues up, a Resto Shaman to heal you and be back up on interrupts, and then a Elemental Shaman to be back there attacking as well. That mob can heal from any range and like through walls and shit, so even though the mob is in the back, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't kick the heals. She can still heal the other boss mobs. The video I linked, there's like a pally tank in like 3 or 4 of the mobs. So, and I didn't do this on the PTR, but Jelly did. And did you say you guys one-shot it? Like,
Sorry. Fathom Lord?
yeah.
Yeah, or no, we two-shot it. It was like
Yeah.
a really easy wipe in the beginning. Like one of the tanks got pummeled, and then we like pretty much one-shot it. It was like flawless.
So there are some things that will tell you like other strats tank the boss away from everybody else. We looked at logs and found that his Seer Nova, he does like pretty much like a little fire nova on himself. He casts it. It does like no damage. So unless something changes, we're just gonna stack them all up. Any questions about that one?
Seems pretty straightforward.
Because of Slayer's gear, we may need to not have him have 2 of the ads on him. The way like we did it on the PTR was the Paladin had like the 2 like first kill targets on him. But also like I don't know. he may get some shit on Tuesday. I don't know. His cure's not that bad. I don't know. It might work out. That fight's all about the shaman being controlled properly and the totems getting killed.
Yeah, I can look at the damage again from those 2 targets that would be on him specifically, but or if we're like loosely stacked, we'll be able to get a bunch of chain heals, and pretty much all the healers will be right there. So, but
You said this is the shaman boss, right?
you would have the shaman and the hunter.
Yes, Golden Star.
Yeah. Where are we at? China. The one uploaded by Panda is in English. Hello. Karathras. Damage done by enemies. Sources. Sharkris is the hunter. Tidal Vest is the shaman. He melee hits for 3.8. Frost shocks for 5.2 on the same target.
Those are the logs from the fight that I did. Found them in the Pug channel or
Okay.
the Discord. I don't know if it matters what you look at. But
And then the hunter melees for 2.1 and does a glaive toss throughout the raid for 3k. So the hunter hits for 2. The shaman hits for 4. And he frost shocks for 5. I could see that being kind of lethal, at least with the frost shocks. He did it to the mob, or he did it to the tank that was tanking him. He did it at like 10 seconds, 30, 45, so he got hit 3 times. So if you get damage taken by this, damage taken, Nessie, Q is tanking. Yeah, maybe we could put Slayers in the back. Because I could see if we got really unlucky and the boss did Seer Nova, he frost shocked, and then he got double meleeed. Let me see what the Hunter Pet hits for. Because you can like tank the Hunter Pet and then that just not be a kill target.
I remember they had like maybe 3 healers on the paladin until the shaman was dead. I think that was tanking because just to be sure.
Dude, what is this bullshit? There we go. Yeah, the pet hits for 2. also does a knock away for 2. Yeah, I'll watch another video on this, and if we want to switch things up, then we can. As of right now, I have it as Tidal Vest and the Spore Bat. Because if we completely dedicate a healer, I wonder if we could probably have that Shaman healer in the middle, still be close enough to heal the others. The thing is that ramp, I'm trying to remember if in the past that creates line of sight problems. Well, we can always move these down a little bit. Okay, we'll take a little bit closer look at that one. For
Yeah,
Leo,
we can play that one right here.
Yeah. For Leo, Bear, you and I just fight for threat. Slayer's kind of the same. I think in the past when we had like 2 warrior tanks, a bear tank and a pally tank, like I just put DPS gear on and let the other tanks kind of fight for threat. But he's gonna do his threat drop every time he whirlwinds, and every time he does his switch between normal and demon form. Generally, we're gonna try to get him towards the center so that we can have like a loose positioning here, and people can run out. That way, the healer and the melee and the tanks can all kind of use this area in the middle. Schnauzer's our warlock tank. He's got his fire resist set already. We don't really need to do anything except for wait and let him pick it up when he switches to demon form. There are, I can post these, but there are like quick guides on how tanks can kill their inner demons the best. They're really susceptible to holy damage, so Slayers probably won't have as much problem as we do, but I'll probably just like throw on 2 weapons and spam Bear. You probably shouldn't have much of an issue. But that would, for anybody besides, like if Bear, you or I die from or get mind control because of our inner demons, that's going to be a problem.
Slayers will probably have the worst trouble with it.
You can.
Pally tank just does not do enough damage.
Yeah, I'll have to see what that one. There's a little.
Wait, is it a demon? Is it actually like a demon, like type?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, never mind. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Inner demons. I'll post this. Was I posting in melee? I don't even this. Yeah, I don't even think that covers prop pally, but yeah, you can use exercise or exorcism at like any health, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not an execute, so. And then once he hits 15%, he splits, and then we kill his human form. So the warlock's still gonna tank the demon form, but we'll still have all the normal mechanics to deal with. And that's generally just like when we lust, and there's a lot of damage going out on the warlock, and then obviously if people are stupid and getting hit by a whirlwind, then they're gonna get a stack or stacks of the bleed. So generally that's when we just lust to kill the boss. So for us, it's mainly just like snap threat to pick up the boss after whirlwind and when he changes between his forms.
Cool.
And then let's hit Vash real quick. I'm gonna tidy up the some 2 sections. I'm gonna post this as is in our channel. I tidy this up before we chat with the other roles.
Slayers, what other trials do you need?
Arc and slabs.
Are you attuned for slabs now?
I'm halfway.
Like zoinks. Okay. So Vash. In the beginning, we're all just gonna run up the ramp together. We're all gonna be able to like spread out, kind of like on Maiden, how you can kind of spread throughout the room and then kind of all run up together. Bear, it's easier for you to tank her during kind of both. Well, yeah, kind of both of the phases, because if she puts her roots on you, you can just power shift out of that. We're probably just gonna have Slayers as like only Paladin, it's looking like right now, for potential Hands of Freedom. So if typically we would just like rotate Hands of Freedom to keep the boss from being rooted, so that he can get away from the person that has the like charge debuff. But if the tank gets the charge, just make sure you call it out, so that melee can get out. Otherwise, the melee, if they get it, they're just gonna run out. So phase 1 is just kind of like tank and spank her in the middle. She's gonna put roots on you. She's gonna do her static charge debuff. And then once she gets down to 70%, that's when she just teleports to the middle and is immune until we deactivate all of her little shield generators. So Bear, you and I are going to be in the middle picking up the Coil Fang elites that spawn. So those ones come every 45 seconds. We're going to have dedicated melee that are going to be tossed, like, in charge of the cores. And other melee that are just dedicated to attacking the elites in the middle. So we're going to make sure we kind of pick those up. If you look at this, the red dots are the elites. And then the blue dots would be us, the tanks. You kind of, and Vash is in the middle right here, so you can pretty much use this like center space where Vash is, and kind of be standing there with your elites facing inwards. Similar to those elites on the lurker fight, they do have a big cleave, so you got to make sure that they aren't faced outwards or faced towards melee DPS. Or if you have to move them, make sure like their cleave is on cooldown, because they're gonna come up from the sides. So like say one came from this north side right here, you would kind of pick it up towards the edge, and the like these lines on the outside of the stairs. So you kind of come up here near the edge, pick it up, move it up slowly. and then hope to see a cleave go out before you kind of drag it right through all these people. If you can get a nice clearing here, you can kind of sneak it in, but we definitely don't want to lose anybody for that reason. So you and I are just going to be picking those up and tanking them in the middle. Slayers can kind of do the same and or be backup. But otherwise, like, it could be that you don't have an elite on you at the time. You could run over, do a little DPS and stun the strider that's walking around. Otherwise, I would just kind of be on standby or just be like attacking the other elite that's there. We're gonna have two small groups of people that consists of a melee DPS, a hunter, and a healer that are going to be handling the cores. So if you reference this map, there's going to be like a blue group as well as a yellow group. So we're not going to rely on like half the rate to do cores. It's going to be the same people every week. Melee is going to run down and pick it up, throw it up the stairs to the hunter. The hunter is going to throw it to like the nearby healer. So we'll be discussing that with those people specifically, but none of us should really be handling any cores. If Slayer's just kind of on standby and he's in a position where he could do something, then he could call it out, but we kind of wanted to keep it to those people so that we just have consistent people that loot the core, pass the core, or dunk the core every week. The big thing with moving into phase 3 is that we want to make sure that there isn't like a fresh ad running out, or like we aren't going to like get a new ad right when we deactivate it. We want to make sure that like the Strider's dead and that we have like an elite at like half health. So we'll also like we should be right in the middle of the platform, right where Vash is anyway. But we want to make sure that we just have those like a single elite and it's pretty much dead. We'll have like a misdirect go out on one of us during that transition from phase 2 to 3. She pretty much gets all of her same abilities as phase 1, so you have to worry about getting rooted. You have to worry about the static charge. We shouldn't have to worry about the mind control specifically, but people are going to get mind controlled. They do a bunch of extra damage, so they should be sheeped or coiled or feared or whatever. Otherwise, the spore bats above us are going to like spit down a bunch of poison and crap. It deals 3.5k damage per tick that you're in that. So if for some reason that lands on like where you're tanking the boss, then you're going to want to move the boss for sure. Otherwise, it's kind of the same as phase 1. It's just a rush because the amount of poison that goes out on the platform, and people kind of just running out of mana and stuff. So we'll lust during phase 3 to get her down from that point. Any questions about Vash?
No, I don't really understand the core thing, but I've never, sounds like I don't have to worry about it anyway.
Yeah, so like during her phase 2, we're just going to be worrying about the elites, but every 50 seconds on the perimeter somewhere, a tainted elemental will spawn. So like there's the frost elementals that are walking up all the time that melee are killing. Every 50 seconds, a poison one will spawn. They'll run down there and kill it. It only lasts 15 seconds, so they have to be like on top of their game. But they'll run down there, they'll kill it, and then it drops one of these cores. The person that has it can't move, and the on use is just passing it to somebody else. And then the person, like there's these 4 little shield generators. It looks like a little aqua globe, like sconce type thing, and it, like when you have the core, you can click on it to deactivate it. So that's where you get like the melee that loots it, throws it to a hunter at the top of the stairs, and then that hunter throws it over to the healer who's already standing next to the generator and ready to just deactivate it.
I get it.
We can really only afford to miss one of those based on my past experience. If we miss 2 of those, that phase just kind of gets overwhelming, and it really draws the fight out too long. So don't think we'll like necessarily call for a wipe early on, but if we know from our experience after a few weeks here that like if it's consistent with that, and if we do miss one core and like it's just not doable, then generally it's just like a call for a wipe, like dying a good spot type stuff. And then for KT, how much of a video have you watched? Slayers and I have done it, so
I watched one. I'll watch a couple more.
okay. For that fight, and we can go over this like specifically on its own. Let me see where I have these pictures. The skinny of it is that like the first 3 phases are like the huge bum rush ones. The first phase not so much. 2 and 3 are just like a race. So like he's got his 4 advisors that come out one by one, and we'll mark them with these marks. Really, there's one of them just fixates on somebody and does like a ranged like knockback attack. He kind of walks slow. So how we're gonna do it is we're gonna just like have him die in the back. So like this is the platform where they all are up here to start. He fixates on somebody for like 6 to 8 seconds and walks towards them. And so we want him to like ultimately die way in the back, because at a later phase, all of the ads come alive at the same time, and we want him to like be way out of the way. So if we have him die in the back, generally the raid's going to be up here by the stairs, and he will be the first kill target in that phase as well, but we don't want him to like just pop up and nuke someone. The second target that comes out is there's a Ret Paladin that's X here. We'll just kind of pull him off to the side and tank him. He's kind of like Prince, but he has a fear. He has like a thrash attack. He kind of hits pretty hard. I'll be tanking him there. And then the third target that comes out is a caster that will be tanked by a warlock. And then anybody within 30 yards range will get hit with a conflagrate, and it will do it's like an AoE to where like anybody that is around that person that gets hit by it gets disoriented. So typically what we do is we'll have like a Shadow Priest, because they have to be within that yard range to do their Mind Flay anyway, so they're like they have a good indication of what's the right range to be in. It'll be tanked by Warlock, and then we'll have a Shadow Priest within that range, and he'll just get hit. So like there's not much for any of us to do for that mob. But the third one you'll tank. It's the one that looks like he's geared up in like tier 4 hunter gear.
Yeah, he throws bombs and shit, right?
Yeah, he throws bombs and they do like 6k damage. So during the first phase, you kind of want to like rotate him around. Like in the first phase, it's not as bad. You can kind of just take the damage and get healed through it. But melee have to be at max range. And then the only other thing that he does is he puts a toy debuff on somebody that causes them to get stunned like every other second for like multiple seconds, and it lasts like a minute. So the big thing with that is we don't have to move the boss into phase 2 until all that last ad dies. So if any of the tanks, any 3 of us, have the toy debuff, then we need to be really vocal about it. What you can do is you can... I'll bring free action potions, but you can use a free action potion. That'll save you from like 30 seconds of it. So if you have like 30 seconds left on it, then we can move into phase 2 and you can just pop a free action potion and it'll be okay enough. The problem with it is right when it's about to fall off of one person, it gets put on to somebody else. So he always has it up on somebody. So somebody kind of gets the shaft with the debuff moving into phase 2. We just don't want it to be one of the tanks because we're not able to tank the weapons while like continuously being stunned. I might be able to because I'm gonna tank the axe by myself, but we can't have it be on Slayers or you, and it definitely can't be on like our designated hunter that we're gonna have attacking and tanking the bow. So if you look at this picture, phase 2 happens like right when the last phase 1 ad dies. So when that guy that throws bombs dies, immediately all the weapons appear. And so we have to have everybody pretty much like ready to attack their target. So this shows where all the weapons are when they spawn. And the big thing here for us is that, I'm going to do a little scribble action here. I'll be red, so I'm going to tank just the axe by itself, and I'm going to pull it like straight back. Bear, you can be blue, and Slayers, you'll also be kind of blue here. Slayers is going to pick up the Infuser, the Slicer, the Time Dagger, and the Bulwark. He's going to pick up all 4 of these and AoE tank them. The thing is, they need to be like over here. Bear, you'll just be picking up the staff, and you'll just tank it on that AoE mark as well. You single target the staff because it does a Frost Nova and it does a Frost Bolt, and it deals the most damage. So everybody kills the staff first. I tank the axe out because it does a whirlwind and it would just like kill people. And then everybody else, like all the other weapons, will be over here. So range are going to kill the staff first. Then they're going to kill the bow. We're going to have a hunter like standing over here attacking the bow. He just has to face the bow away because it does like a cone of like multi-shots. So as long as he's got it faced away from the group, because like most of the raid is going to be standing here. So Slayers will pick them up. You'll pick up the staff. The Warp Slicer, so the sword does like a bleed. Bear, after the staff is dead, it's probably just best that you pick up the warp slicer so that Slayers doesn't take too many stacks of that bleed. I don't think it's as lethal as we're used to it being. It used to we're used to, at least I'm used to it stacking to like 10 and it just being like it really multiplying the damage you take. So I would just pick up the slicer. And really at that point, like first kill target staff, then range move to the bow, and melee kill the infuser. That's the healing weapon. They just have to kick its heals. So nobody should be in range of or put any pets on the bow. Range will just kill it after the staff. And then we'll just kind of nuke everything else down. This whole phase is on a timer. So like phase 1, like phase 2 doesn't get triggered until phase 1 is done based on when the ads die. Phase 2 lasts, I'll have to look at that video again to see. I think we get like 2 minutes to kill all the weapons. The video that I linked though, like they killed them with ample time. Everybody was able to like, let their MP5 tick. They were able to go up and loot the weapons and shit. So I'm hoping we're at that point when we are like, doing KT that we don't have to worry about this like very hectic phase 2 to phase 3 transition. Because whenever we're done with these, the dead mobs are going to be here. Thaladred, the guy is going to walk from over here. I'm going to pick up the Ret Paladin over here. Bear, you'll pick up the Tinker dude, and you'll just kind of tank him back here. And this is where you can kind of just run him in circles to avoid his grenade damage, just because it's completely avoidable. Nobody's going to be attacking that mob at the beginning, so you don't have to worry as much about like people pulling thread off you and stuff. You could just kind of loosely kite him around there. And then the other mob, the caster, is going to be over here again. So she'll die there, and it's going to be the same warlock and priest there. So the warlock and priest will get into position there. You and I will tank, the mobs up here, and the rest of the raid really is just running around and avoiding and killing Thaladred. So they'll kill him first. They'll go over to the casters go to the caster mob again. The melee go over to the Ret Paladin, and then the mob that you're tanking will be last. So you should be able to spend like most of the time just dodging his grenades, and when the raid gets to the point to where we're killing it, then yours will be last. The last 2 phases are really just KT. In one phase, we pretty much just tank him in the middle. I guess I'll use that same one. We'll pretty much just tank him in the middle. We can kind of just I'll probably be tanking him because I'll have the bulwark on. And the on use negates like 100,000 damage for a few seconds. So when he gets his pyroblast off, he kind of does the same thing as like one of the High King mobs where he like throws up a shield and then starts to pyro. But otherwise he just does like an ignite in a spot and casts fireballs. So by the time we like get to this phase, the only thing that is really a problem is like if you ignore the weapons on here, like he'll be about here, and he'll have phoenixes that like spawn in these like back locations. We'll just have our elemental shaman pick those up and kind of like kite them like in this fashion. They're pretty slow, so they could just like frost shock them and kite them around and earthbind and throw a lightning bolt at them, and they kind of just like die just from their damage when they get, towards the back here. So they spawn, and then when they die, they turn into an egg, and after like however many seconds, they will like reincarnate again, and then you would have to like kill and kite them. So once they turn into an egg, all the range, which will still kind of be in this like general middle area. So the range and healers don't really have to move much during the fight, but they'll just kind of turn around and we'll call for them to kill an egg. And then, if we have another one that comes up over here, kill that egg. And then I forget what percentage it is that he moves into phase 5. But that's when he also starts to do the little gravity stuff. So he'll throw us all up in the air. If there are any phoenixes still alive, they just stand still and like essentially like kind of like bug out, like you can't attack them. But he does like a chain lightning like in the air pretty much. So everybody has to like vertically spread out, horizontally spread out, and then just continue DPSing the boss, and he has all of his normal abilities. So for us, kind of the same. I'll be tanking him, and you'll be there back up. But then towards the end of his little gravity thing, he will like when he ends it, he just drops everybody. So if you are too high, you would take a bunch of falling damage. So when it gets towards the end of that phase, similarly to like how we say on Nether Spite to like, get ready to run out, we'll just say like, hey, lower yourself and get ready to fall. That way people take minimal fall damage. Everybody will kind of stack back up here in the middle. Phoenixes will be at the health they were when we went up in the air. So we'll have to like continue kiting and killing the eggs and all that. And then otherwise we just do that phase until he's dead.
Makes sense.
The only thing that's kind of like dicey is I don't know what weapon you would use, if any. Like I think the staff gives some druid something.
I think it gives like a crazy amount of attack power, but can he use it in bear form?
Let me pull it up real quick. Because we don't have to worry about this. Yeah, so that one does give you 1459 AP in cat form and all that. So, yeah, you'll want to go get the staff. You essentially want to loot the staff when it dies. And the thing that's kind of annoying to have to deal with in the middle of all of this is each group needs somebody to loot and use the effect of the staff, because it makes everybody immune to the toy debuff, that engineer mob that you're going to be tanking in phase 1 and in phase 3. It makes everybody immune to that, so it negates that entire mechanic, which is really important for phase 3. The problem is, like, somebody in the group has to equip it and use it, and the people in the group have to be within 30 yards. So we'll be kind of working on making sure that there's somebody in each group that can do that. But yeah, it looks like you'll benefit most from just looting and equipping the staff.
Yeah.
Hey, I get 1500 attack power and 75 stamina.
Otherwise, what did we end off on with Slayers? I think we were like, oh, that was Solarian. Slayers, during Solarian, we're going to just do the resist crap, and she's gonna transition between her two phases. She's gonna have 50 seconds in the phase where she's just out casting missiles on people, and then she'll disappear and spawn 12 like elite mobs that will run out from 3 beams of light. You just have to pick those up and AoE tank them like kind of near the range group. And then when like we have 20 seconds to kill them, and then Solarian will come back out. When she comes back out, she'll bring 2 priests with her, and you'll be able to just kind of like go pick those up and DPS/stun and attack those. And then at phase 3, when she turns into a Voidwalker, you'll be tanking her. She hits for physical damage, like 2.5k per hit. At that point, the boss is pretty much like dead.
Is there a threat drop when she does that?
Yeah, so we'll have a misdirect.
All right, I think we covered it all. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, I'll watch some more videos this week. I don't have anything better to do.
Yeah, if you
That's
have...
as good as a tank.
Yep. If you have any questions, just hit them in that channel, and I'll respond, and we can, if it makes sense to chat about it again or to switch things up, then we'll definitely do so. I'll look for what we might want to do different for Karathras.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think everything should be kind of locked in. The only thing we're gonna try to balance is like which bosses we do when and stuff, because if you end up being out next Thursday,
I will be 100% at this point.
Yeah, is it looking like it's gonna be like, I mean, obviously I know how it is, stuff like randomly happens, and it could be sooner. But is she getting induced, or is it?
Yeah, so it's like a Thursday afternoon time frame.
Oh, okay. So at least it's kind of definite. I remember like, yeah, we could chat about it after, but okay, yeah.
Ew.
If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I want to make sure that we're very clear on all of this before we are standing in front of a boss.
Yeah, I would definitely say do the resist ones on Wednesday.
Yeah, the thing is, we don't want to have to move in between the raids, because clearing TK trash is ass, and I really want to do... The thing is, we need 4 tanks for Alar, so maybe we just like go do TK first and like just go do 3 out of 4.
Yeah, like 3 out of 4 there, and then at least Hydros.
Yeah, run over and do Hydros, and just... The thing is, I think that I need to remember if that platform trash is tied to Hydros or Lurker. I think it's Hydros.
Oh, I thought it was Lurker.
Let's clarify that, because we don't want to have to go in the next night to find out that we have to clear a bunch of trash again.
That would be fucking terrible.
Yeah, that would ruin my night.
It's a lot of trash, too.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for sitting around and listening. I'll vend out this recording as well, so if you want to listen to and watch anything that I had up on my screen, then you'll have access to that as well.
Will do. I'm going to go pass out for now.
All right, I'll see you.
Later.